In the quiet town of Monroe, Connecticut, nestled within the quaint New England landscape, lay a house that was anything but ordinary. This house, which from the outside looked like any other suburban home, was the residence of Ed and Lorraine Warren, the famed paranormal investigators. Within its walls, a repository of haunted artifacts told tales of terror and tragedy. The most notorious of these artifacts was a seemingly innocuous Raggedy Ann doll known to the world as Annabelle. However, the true story of Annabelle, shrouded in darkness and horror, went far beyond the popularized accounts. It all began in 1970 when a nursing student named Donna received the doll as a birthday present from her mother. Donna, who shared an apartment with her roommate Angie, initially thought the doll was a cute addition to their home. Little did they know that this gift would become the epicenter of a series of increasingly disturbing events. Donna and Angie first noticed something odd about the doll when it seemed to change positions on its own. At first, these changes were subtle. A head tilted slightly differently or an arm repositioned. But as the days passed, the movements became more pronounced. The doll would appear in different rooms entirely, often with its legs crossed or its arms folded. The roommates began to find cryptic messages scrawled on parchment paper around the apartment. The messages were written in a childlike hand and simply read, "Help me and help Lou," referring to Angie's boyfriend. What was particularly eerie was that neither Donna nor Angie owned parchment paper. One night, they returned home to find Annabelle lying on Donna's bed, blood smeared across its hands and chest. Terrified, they contacted a medium, hoping for answers. The medium revealed that the spirit of a young girl named Annabelle Higgins had taken residence in the doll. Annabelle had allegedly died on the land where their apartment now stood, and she claimed to feel comfortable with Donna and Angie. Feeling sympathy for the spirit, Donna and Angie decided to keep the doll. This decision proved to be a grave mistake. Lou, Angie's boyfriend, never felt at ease around Annabelle. He had vivid nightmares in which the doll would climb up his body and strangle him. One night he awoke in a cold sweat, certain that Annabelle was trying to kill him. He resolved to rid them of the cursed doll. Lou's nightmare took a horrifying turn when he and Angie were attacked by an unseen force while alone in the apartment. Lou felt a searing pain on his chest, and when he lifted his shirt he found claw marks, raw and bleeding. The attack left them both shaken and desperate for help. Ed and Lorraine Warren, renowned paranormal investigators known for their work with haunted houses and demonic possessions. Upon examining the doll and the apartment, the Warrens concluded that the spirit claiming to be Annabelle Higgins was not a benevolent ghost, but a malevolent entity seeking to possess a human host. The Warrens arranged for an exorcism of the apartment by a priest, Father Cook, and took Annabelle with them, believing that the doll would be safer under their watch. They placed Annabelle in a glass case in their occult museum, where she remains to this day, with a sign warning visitors, "Positively do not open." Yet, what many do not know is that the story of Annabelle did not end there. Behind the publicized accounts and the museum's glass case lies a far more sinister tale. In the late 19th century, the land where Donna and Angie's apartment building now stood was a sprawling farm owned by the Higgins family. Annabelle Higgins was indeed a real person, but her story was far darker than the innocent tale the medium recounted. Annabelle was the youngest of 5 children. Her parents were strict, devoutly religious, and known in the community for their harsh discipline. Annabelle's childhood was marked by isolation and fear. The local children whispered tales of strange rituals and eerie chants coming from the Higgins barn late at night. One winter, the entire Higgins family vanished without a trace. The farm was abandoned, and it wasn't until the spring thaw that the grisly truth was discovered. The bodies of the Higgins family were found in a shallow grave in the barn, arranged in a circle, their faces twisted in terror. Annabelle's body was never found. Rumors spread of occult practices and demonic worship. Some claimed the Higgins had made a pact with a dark entity, and when the time came to collect, Annabelle had been taken as payment. The farm lay fallow for decades, a place of dread and desolation, until it was eventually sold and developed into apartments. After the Warrens secured Annabelle in their museum, strange occurrences continued. The glass case seemed to vibrate, and muffled voices could be heard. Lorraine, sensitive to spirits, felt a deep, abiding malevolence emanating from the doll, unlike anything she had encountered before. One evening, while working late in the museum, Ed heard a whispering voice. Following the sound, he found himself standing before Annabelle's case. The whispers grew louder, more insistent. "Release me," they begged. "Free me." Ed, a man of strong will and faith, resisted the urge but knew they needed to understand more about what they were dealing with. The Warrens decided to delve deeper into Annabelle's history. They discovered the tragic story of the Higgins family and the dark rumors surrounding their disappearance. It became clear that Annabelle Higgins was more than a restless spirit. She was the conduit for a much older and more powerful evil. Determined to learn the truth, the Warrens sought the help of Father MacLeod, a priest and expert in demonology. Father MacLeod proposed a risky plan to perform a séance with Lorraine acting as the medium, attempting to contact the spirit directly and uncover its true nature. The night of the séance was stormy, with lightning illuminating the darkened museum. Lorraine, Ed and Father MacLeod sat around a table in the room where Annabelle's case stood. As Lorraine entered the trance, her voice changed, becoming childlike and filled with sorrow. She cried for help, revealing that a presence would not let her go. The voice identified itself as Annabelle and spoke of an entity known as the Ram, always there, demanding more. The room grew colder and the lights flickered. Father MacLeod began to recite a Latin prayer, his voice rising above the howling wind. Lorraine's body convulsed, and she let out a blood-curdling scream. He threw holy water onto the doll's case and Lorraine collapsed, the trance broken. The Ram was an ancient demon known for demanding human sacrifices. Its presence explained the Higgins family's fate and the continued hauntings. The demon had latched onto Annabelle's spirit, using the doll as a vessel to influence and torment the living. The Warrens discovered that Annabelle was not merely possessed by a spirit, but was a portal for a malevolent force. The doll was more than a haunted object. It was a conduit for the Ram's influence. The binding ritual was successful, but it came at a cost. Lorraine was left weakened, her psychic abilities drained. The experience had taken a toll on all of them, but they had succeeded in containing the demon. The Warrens continued their work, warning others of the dangers that lurked in the shadows. Annabelle remained, in her case, a silent testament to the evil that once resided within. Visitors to the museum would often feel uneasy around the doll, unaware of the true horror it contained. Yet, even as the years passed, the Warrens knew that evil could never be completely eradicated. The battle against darkness was eternal, and Annabelle was a reminder that vigilance and faith were their strongest weapons. Decades later, long after Ed had passed and Lorraine had retired from public life, Annabelle's legend continued to grow. Stories of the doll's malevolence spread, captivating the imagination of horror enthusiasts and paranormal investigators alike. But behind the sensationalism was a stern warning. The supernatural was not to be trifled with. One summer evening, a group of young skeptics visited the Warrens' occult museum. Despite the warnings, they taunted the doll, mocking the tales of its dark history. As they left the museum, the air grew thick and an oppressive silence followed them. That night, a terrible accident occurred. Their car veered off the road, flipping multiple times. Miraculously, they survived, but the message was clear. They returned to the museum humbled and seeking forgiveness. Lorraine, frail but still possessing her keen sense of the supernatural, met them. She reminded them that the doll was not a plaything, but a vessel of great evil. Annabelle was a conduit for darkness, and those who disrespected it did so at their peril. The dark truth behind Annabelle serves as a cautionary tale about the perils of dabbling in the unknown. The doll, safely locked away, continues to be a focal point for curiosity and fear. It stands as a symbol of the Warrens' lifelong battle against the forces of evil, a reminder that some stories are rooted in truths far scarier than fiction. To this day, the Warrens' legacy endures, their efforts to protect the world from malevolent forces inspiring a new generation of paranormal investigators. The glass case remains unbroken, the sign undisturbed. Positively, do not open. For as long as it stays that way, the dark truth behind Annabelle will remain a chilling reminder of the thin veil between our world and the supernatural. And should that veil ever be pierced again, those who dare to confront it will need to summon all their courage and faith to face the unspeakable horrors that lie beyond. Thank you for staying with us until the end of this chilling tale. If you enjoyed the story, please like, share, and subscribe for more spine-tingling content. We appreciate your support and look forward to bringing you more tales of horror and the supernatural. Stay curious, stay brave, and remember to always keep an eye out for the things that go bump in the night.